Hello, welcome to No Sevens Dice Club, College Football Edition, Week 12, November 21st. Last week was a great week. We went 4-0, and our special guest, Bill Murray, wants to say something.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
So we had an awesome week, 4-0. We kicked butt. We did really well, and there were some games that we scheduled. The Georgia game did not play because of COVID, and the other game for LSU did not play because of COVID, so that game also got rescheduled. But I went ahead and I put Notre Dame up there because playing Boston College, so we went ahead and took that game. We won that game, won all the games 4-0, so now our 2020 season is 24-17-1. Slowly climbing up that ladder of looking pretty good, looking like we're going to be over to 50%, but still have a long way to go before we can celebrate. You know, we still have a whole entire another month and to get through college bowl games and go from there. This week, we have some unusual picks that I normally do not stray into. So hopefully I don't go too far at the reservation and it comes back and bites me on the butt. But there were some email requests, and so I'm going to take those emails and see what my thoughts are on them, like the Liberty, North Carolina State, the Indiana and Ohio State game. Those were the two emails, so I'm going to give you my thoughts and my picks on them, and go from there. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one. Indiana, for the first time since I can't remember, I think it was 1989, that they're ranked into the top 10. Indiana's playing a really good season. They're breaking all sorts of records from the 1980s, the last time they were a powerhouse, Big Ten football team. And I think it was 1969 was the last time that they were, they beat a top 10 team or something like that. I can't remember all the stats, but they're breaking stats and records that they have not broken since the 1980s. Some of it even back into the 1960s. So they're playing a very dominant football team so far. And they played some pretty good teams, but they have not really played a true powerhouse. Ohio State has always been the like the Alabama of the South. Well, Ohio State's always been, the Big Ten's powerhouse. They're the measuring stick that everybody measures and see how well they perform, just like Alabama is in the SEC, just like Clemson is in the ACC. They are the dominant team in that conference. But Indiana is playing really well. We're going to find out a lot more about this team this coming week. This Saturday, they're playing Ohio State. Ohio State has, Justin Fields. They have a great list of talented all-star players. But looking at the eye test, Ohio State does not have any defense this year. And that's why I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what Las Vegas predicts. Ohio State is minus 21. I do see Indiana probably covering this because Indiana is going to keep this game close. I think there's going to be probably a 14-point differential at the end of this game. Favoring Ohio State's probably going to win this game outright. But Indiana could win this game. You never know how this game's going to turn out. But I think 21 points is too much for Ohio State. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take Indiana plus 21 because Indiana is going to keep this game close. They got the offense to keep it close, to keep the ball moving. And Ohio State, like I said, does not have a defense. They have a great offense. So we might even look at the over. I think the over was like 65, 68. So it was a little high on the over. So I really wouldn't pick the over unless it drops down a little bit into like the low 60s. But this could turn out to be a shootout. You could see 40-40 in this, 30-30, somewhere around there. So that's the reason why I'm kind of cautious on the over. But let's go ahead. I think this is too many points for Ohio State to cover, given that Indiana has a great offense. So we're going to take Indiana plus 21. And it was just like the Miami game, Virginia Tech, that game, those players, a lot of those players, starters were out for COVID-19 for Miami. And man, that was a really good game last week when Miami had +2 and they came back and won. And whew, I was kind of sweating bullets on that game. But glad to see Miami was able to cover that game. But enough about last week. Let's talk about Kansas State at Iowa State. This is going to be a very close game. And Kansas State's kind of fallen off the power rankings. You know, they lost their last couple of games. They weren't as dominant as they were before. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm not sure if their starting quarterback ever came back. I have to look that up. I'm sorry I don't have that information for you. I just thought of it just now, right when I'm doing this video, so I had never had a chance to look at it. But Kansas State, they're kind of trailing out. They're almost like a break even. I think their record is 5-4 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Iowa State's still playing really good football right now, and this game is going to be another very close game. But I kind of like the underdog in this. I like Kansas State to be kind of scrappy. They're gonna fight really hard. They might not win this game, but I don't see Iowa State covering 11 points. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas State plus 11 because I think Kansas State's going to keep this game pretty close. Their defense is still playing phenomenal, whether who's playing the quarterback position. And I'm going to look that up. Hold on one second. So yeah, it's just like what I thought. Skylar Thompson is out for the rest of the season with that broken leg. Unfortunately, his season is over with at Kansas State as a quarterback. Will he come back for his 6th year, since this year was a free year for all the college football players? That's the question to ask. There's a lot of talented quarterbacks coming out in this year's draft, so he might come back for his 6th year for Kansas State. But regardless of that, I still think, and I'm not sure if it's Will Howard is still playing or what's going on. I haven't really been able to follow Kansas State that much. But what I'm relying this game on is how Kansas State's defense has been playing. I think this is going to be a closer game than 11 points difference. I kind of see this game being like a 4 or 5 point difference in the end with Kansas State's defense. So I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go ahead and risk a little bit of it, and we're going to go ahead and put Kansas State plus 11. All right, like I said, I'm going off the reservation here this week. You know, I might be in a rough week, but you know, we never know. We have to walk on the wild side sometimes and see how we do. But all right, so the next game is Ole Miss. The Lane Train is going to College Station over at Texas A&M, and Texas A&M, they have been all over the roller coaster as well. You know, they blow a team out one week, and then the next team, you know, they just get demolished. You know, this game is so unpredictable on which way you want to go. We know that Ole Miss can score points with Lane Kiffin. Their offense is really hot. Texas A&M is coming into this game -13. I think that's way too many points for Texas A&M. They don't have the defense to play to stop Ole Miss. You know, Texas A&M, they've been playing some pretty good games, but I'm going to look up a quick stat real quick and make sure I'm looking at the same thing I want to look at. But give me one second. So let's see. We're going to look at Texas A&M's schedule. So they played South Carolina. They beat them 48-3, okay? They played Arkansas 42-31. They won that game. They play Mississippi State 28-14. So you can kind of see that this is going to be -13. But when we take a look at Ole Miss and we look at their schedule and how they've been playing, they lost a few games, but now they're back on a winning streak. They won against South Carolina 59-42, Vanderbilt 54-21. They lost to Auburn 28-35, lost to Arkansas 21-33. But what I'm trying to show you here is that they can score points. They average, you know, easily into the 30s and 40s on average is what Ole Miss averages. So I have a feeling that this game is going to be a shootout, and there's not a total point, so I can't figure out if it's going to be an over/under game, because I might just pick the over on this game because it's going to be a high volume of offense, because Ole Miss doesn't have a defense. Texas A&M has a little bit of a defense, but you know, as far as Texas A&M goes, and you're looking at it 48-3, 42-31. That's kind of where I see this game at with how Texas A&M played Arkansas 2 weeks ago on October 31st when it was 42-31. I can kind of see that score being this one. I see Ole Miss playing this game very close, but I see Texas A&M pulling away at the end and winning this game. Who knows? Ole Miss might come in and steamroll Texas A&M, but I think it's too many points. I would feel comfortable if Texas A&M was at minus 10 points. I would pick Texas A&M, but 13 points is, I think it's a little bit over. But if you're picking this game later on in the week and you see Texas A&M minus 10, you might want to either stay away from this game or you might want to go ahead and pick Texas A&M minus 10. But for minus 13, we're going to take Ole Miss. I think the lane train is going to roll. I think we're going to score 30 plus points in this, and we're going to have Texas A&M is going to score probably about 30, 40 points too. It's going to be a shootout. I think whoever wins this game, whoever has the ball last in this game is going to win this game. But let's go ahead and let's take Ole Miss minus Ole Miss plus 13. All right, and this is probably the first week I've ever picked so many underdogs. It's been a while since I picked so many dark horse teams. The underdogs to win these games. All right, next up we have Kyle Trask, who is playing lights out football. He reminds me of a lot like Joe Burrow. Very smart. I didn't realize he was a senior this year. Going into the draft, he's going to be a highly rated #1 pick. I see him probably going in somewhere in the 10 to 20 range pick. He might even go higher than that, but I kind of see him in the 10 to 20 range in the first round draft. Kyle Trask is playing lights out. He's breaking all of Joe Burrow's records in the SEC. Hard to believe that those records could be broken from last year already, but they're being broken. Kyle Trask is doing really well. Destroyed Arkansas. Just lit it up. 5 touchdowns in the first half against Arkansas. If you remember that, we picked Florida to win and dominate that game. They did that. We were kind of talking a little bit that might be a trap game for Florida, and it was a little bit at first. They had a little bit of a letdown, but man, they stepped on the gas pedal in the second quarter and never looked back. Left Arkansas in the dust. And with that being said, they're playing Vandy. I think they're just going to annihilate Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is just, it's a dumpster fire down there. We've talked about this before in the season, how Vandy cannot cover anybody, especially with all that. Is Kyle Pittman, is he going to come back for Florida, this tight end? We're not sure if he is, because Kyle and Kyle have a great relationship working together on the offense. But Florida is minus 31.5. By the end of this week, I see this going up to minus 35. But right now, Florida is minus 31. If it's minus 35, I wouldn't pick this game. I'll kind of stay away from this game. But Florida's going to absolutely steamroll Vandy. This is going to be no question on the play. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Florida minus 31.5. And like I said, if it goes any higher than this, I would not pick this game because Vanderbilt's going to score points. They're going to score points in garbage time, and that's what you got to be careful of. It's not the first string you got to look at. They're going to pull out Trask. They're going to pull out Pittman. They're going to pull out the rest of the first string and some of the defense in the beginning or the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. So that's what you got to be careful of, is the garbage time. So we are going to go ahead, but we're going to go ahead and pick Florida right now. So let's go ahead and pick Florida minus 31, and this is going to be a very close game as far as the point spread goes. So be very careful in this game and watch where you go, because later on in the week it could be minus 35 or something like that. So we just have to watch it. But for right now, we're going to take Florida minus 31.5. All right, the next game, this was another email request, just like the Indiana-Ohio State, was what was my thoughts on Liberty versus North Carolina State. North Carolina State destroyed Florida State last week, like we thought. That was my home run money pick, and hopefully you guys follow through with that and made you guys a lot of money with that pick last week. Liberty, if you know anything about Liberty, which nobody really does because it's such a small school, Liberty is, the head coach is Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze was the coach for Ole Miss, had a very dominating coaching career in high school I mean, just destroyed everybody. I mean, he had, I forgot what his record was, but it was something insane. I mean, it will go into the high school Hall of Fame of how good he was in high school. And he got the nod to go play in Ole Miss. He got caught with having hookers and all sorts of crazy stuff. Paid cell phones for hookers and stuff at Ole Miss. Got fired. Nobody wanted to talk to him. He got the job at Liberty. He's absolutely lighting it up at Liberty, just leveling smaller school teams and everything, showing you that he is still a great coach. The reason why I bring that up is because South Carolina just fired Will Muschamp. Will he get the nod to come back to the SEC and play for South Carolina? If I was South Carolina, I don't care what he does on the side. I don't care if he buys hookers with cocaine or whatever else. This guy knows how to play football games. He knows how to put people in the stands. He knows how to get you back on the winning record. Is his characters and his morals a little questionable? Yes. But I think he's learned his lesson from that. I think that he needs to move forward, and I think he has. I think he's moved forward with his life. He knows how to get people to believe in him, buy into his system, and he is also one of the only coaches in the SEC who's beaten Alabama twice, 2 years in a row out of 3. I think he's only been with Ole Miss 3 or 4 years. So he beat Alabama twice back in the days when they won national championships. So, and I mean, they're still winning national championships now, but this was back the year that they won the national championship still. So, I mean, it's a great coach. I think he's a great hire. His morals and his character are a little questionable, but he can get people to buy in. He can develop players. He can do a lot of things for South Carolina. And he could even beat Clemson, because not only will he be playing Alabama so many years, but he's guaranteed to play Clemson every year at the end when they have, the in-state rival. I guarantee you that he'll probably upset Clemson in some of those games. So that would be my pick. If I was going to after a head coach, Hugh Freeze would be it. But let's look at the Liberty, North Carolina State. And you can send me your comments, what you think about Hugh Freeze and everything else. I watched him. He did a great job at Ole Miss. And, I mean, like I said, it's a questionable, it's a questionable hire, but I mean, it's all in the gray area. So let's look at Liberty's record. They're 8-0. They've won by an average of anywhere from 15 to 45 points in each game. I mean, they're handling. I mean, and these are 2- and 3-star players. These are not 4- and 5-star SEC players that are coming to play for Hugh Freeze and Liberty. Now for North Carolina State, they're doing really well. Their record right now is 5-3. They just beat Florida State 38-22. That was my money pick. I told you guys to take that, run to the bank, bet the farm on there, whatever you had to do last week. Hopefully you did. You made you some money. They lost to Miami 41-44. They lost to North Carolina 21-48. Now I want to pause and I want you to realize something. All right, they beat Duke 31-20, but they lost to North Carolina 21-48. I think this game is going to be a very close game, and this game could go either way, and this game is going to be decided probably in the fourth quarter. Not at the end of the fourth quarter, but probably at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I think it's going to be a very fought, hard game. Liberty's going to come out. They're going to show them a ton of option. They're going to do a lot of RPO because that's what Hugh Freeze runs. And I think that's going to kind of confuse North Carolina State. North Carolina State has a really good defense this year. They're very aggressive, and I think that's going to probably hurt them a little bit, is because with that RPO, is that you're not sure if it's going to be a run or if it's not going to be a pass, because with that RPO option is that it's going to kind of freeze that defense. So this is going to be a very close game. North Carolina State's -3.5. But I do think that whoever has the ball going into the fourth quarter and who finishes the game at the end of the fourth quarter is going to win this game. And it's pretty much down to a pick'em game. I mean, it's 3.5 points. Now, if I had to straight up pick them, I would pick North Carolina State to win this game, because I think it's going to be North Carolina to 30 points. And I think Liberty's going to have 20 points, but should be the game of the week. This is going to be a very, very tight game, but it's Hugh Freeze, and I think that they're going to upset North Carolina State, as far as the point spread goes. But as far as the pick, who's going to win the game, It might be Liberty too. I'm going to go ahead and say Liberty's going to probably win this game. This is their bowl game. This is their title game. This is everything. All eyes are going to be on this game with them this week. So this is going to be a very close game. You have Indiana, Ohio State. That's going to be another great game. But Liberty at North Carolina State. If you guys happen to have a chance to, tune into this game and watch this game, because this is going to be a very good game on Saturday. You know, you have no-name players, and it's going to be evenly matched. Great game. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Liberty plus 3.5, but I think NC State might win this game. I don't know who's going to win this game. I really don't, but I'm going to take Liberty plus 3.5 right now. All right, so we got Liberty plus 3.5. Like I said, I'm going off the reservation. I have a lot of underdogs in this week, and I haven't picked a lot of underdogs this season, and I haven't picked a lot of underdogs really in a long time. So hopefully we do all right. So Liberty plus 3.5, and guys, for our Bowley picks, our Moneyline picks is going to be Clemson, Florida, Texas, Bama, and Georgia. So Clemson, Florida, Texas, Bama, and Georgia are going to be our Moneyline picks. They're going to absolutely destroy everybody. Texas is going to be a little bit questionable. They're playing Kansas. If they lose to Kansas, I can't help Texas anymore. But we're going to go ahead and pick Texas for that game. Clemson's playing Florida State. Florida, you know, we already talked about Florida. They're playing Vandy. Bama is playing, I think it's Kentucky. And then Georgia is playing, I can't remember who Georgia's playing, but those are going to be our money line picks. And then guys, quick update. I'm going to try to do a craps video this Friday. The craps table is coming along great. Almost got everything back in working order. So hopefully I can have it ready to go for you on Friday. If not Friday, I'll have a video for you on Saturday, show you the new table. Hopefully we can get everything going and make a video. Really looking forward to doing a craps video. And like I said, thank you guys so much for those donations and well wishes to help get the table in record pace. And I'll go more over the table that day when I'm making the video. But good luck to you guys on Saturday. Hopefully we have a good week this week. Like I said, we went 4-0 last week, and let's just keep it rolling. You know, let's make some money this week. All right. So good luck to everybody. And if you have any comments, if you want to put your picks down there in the comments section, I always look forward to what you guys have to say. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I will talk to you hopefully Friday or Saturday with a new craps video. Talk to you soon. Bye.